I don't think she's just bringing her stuff out. Thank you for tuning back into that controller. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I was a tiny bit late. We're getting some very strong winds, so I blew over some stuff, just making sure, just everything related to the house is good, and things like that. So yeah, there was just very strong winds outside. So hopefully the connection's coming through okay. I'm glad that we're able to come back and finish this discussion we had a little bit earlier. Trying to do more in this format as well so that I can get away from the charts and I can actually just talk to everybody without being so tied into the charts. I do know what's going on in general, without looking at it in real time, but we do have a lot, not just with the charts, but a lot of news that is noteworthy today. We've had some substantial movements when it comes to gold, silver, and things like that we really need to talk about, which we will. We've had with XRP, it at least came back up this morning. We'll talk about XRP with the price action, with the Fed injecting money into the 4-year bonds, the treasury bonds. That has a direct effect on gold and silver being a almost parabolic movement that could happen here again. It makes perfect sense why it back tested that breakdown it didn't go all the way down to 69, but why it had that $14 drop off from 83 to 69 and some change, then went back up to $82. It's getting choppy. Is it? Interesting. Getting choppy. Is it? I'm listening to it right here. Yeah, because now I can hear my back. So anyhow, hopefully you guys can hear this. It seemed like it was coming through on what I'm watching it on. I would try to close it out and reopen it. Mrs. Stott says there's two of me talking. Coming in loud and clear for you, Cannabis Pot. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, good. Maybe it was just because I had to move the way the microphone was at. Anyhow, so we have that injection of capital into the 1 to 4 month treasury bonds. Ironically, not anything further than that. Like, they didn't inject anything more. So that's something that would be a little bullish for gold, silver, and the metals and things like that. But for crypto, initially we have a delay of the Trump tariff ruling that was supposed to be today, which initially that sent us up with a bullish spike from like $2.07 area. We surged right up to $2.15, came back down near $2.10, and right now we're holding. And after I do the intro, we'll talk more about that. Good morning. 11:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, January 9th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. And thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you coming back. I know we were on for almost an hour. I know there's been a lot of content coming out today and every day, but I really do try to stay in the moment. And the best way to stay in the moment is to constantly be looking at this stuff. So generally what I do is I get up, get ready, do the short, take our son to school, me and Julie, do my workout Monday through Friday, which was a good workout. It's definitely been paying off. It's been like 3+ years now, so there's some, I definitely like that. Somebody told me yesterday I should do that more, so I did it more. Wish is commanded. And then I come home, we do the lives and stuff like that. And then we just set up at home and then go pick them back up. But today, it's a unique day because if we do not get a vote on the tariff, even though someone said at the end of the last live that there was a chance that like all of a sudden they were going to come in and talk about it. But if they don't rule on it, it can't negatively impact crypto if it goes against what we would want. So it's a it's a very interesting time. Theo, I too have enjoyed it this way because I don't have to look at the chart. You know, most of the time I'm looking at a chart and it's always the same. You know, it's the same thing over and over and over for me, which it's going to be. But now it's just a matter. Whoops. Now it's just a matter of switching this to where the view's the best because it looks a little bit better if I, you know, can show everything and then you can see. Hey, you can see T behind me too. But I don't want to stop. It's good, but buy one more roll. I understand that. I understand that. Oh, yeah, you might be hearing the wind behind me too. That's true, because I have the window open. Because it's one of those days where it's like very windy, but it feels good to have the window open. Air the house out while we can before it gets really cold again. But like with XRP, the biggest news today is there's two things. Oh yeah, it's much more relaxed like this. I really like it. But there's a couple news notes today. Let's just see if there's anything more. I like to try to stay up to date. It would actually be Ripple news, not XRP news. But there was a couple things we talked about yesterday. I don't know if there's anything above and beyond that or if there's any more advancements. Oh, the UK stuff. So Ripple wins UK Conduct Authority, the FCA. So Ripple has gained FCA registration through its UK subsidiary, marking a key regulatory milestone as Britain moves to bring crypto into its financial framework. So, and then the only things really to know from this, in my opinion, so Ripple secured the registration with the Financial Conduct Authority in recognition that it meets UK money laundering regulations. And then the International Payments Company can now carry out certain crypto-related activities in the country. So that's a big win in the UK for Ripple. Let's see. That's the big thing today, the FCA approval in the UK. I thought there was something with the bank too. I swear I thought I seen something. Yeah, but I don't think that was in relation to XRP. There was one thing that I wanted to remember. I know we talked a little bit about a bank thing yesterday, but... Oh, that's what it was with Liberty Financial. World Liberty Financial joins Custodia, Ripple, Circle, and push for U.S. Trust Bank status. So they were just joining in on this little fight. So Ripple, Circle approved to form National Trust Banks. That was last month. So yeah, that was just an additional to this little fight we're doing with them to try for further expansion here. But Ripple would be the bank. They had a bunch of different acquisitions. What the heck was the one called Silvexia or something that we just had? That helps with the settlement and things like that. Which some people speculate, and I think it's actually an interesting prospect, is that it would be for the payroll would be a big part of that expansion. So there's been a lot of acquisitions end of last year, so to this year. But for XRP right now, I know a lot of people are going to come in and want to know about the charts. And XRP, the bottom line is we broke out of a falling wedge before we had this push up to like $2.36-ish or whatever. And then after we broke back down here, we've got two different layers we can look at. One, if we can get back over $2.17, that would allow us the ability to push out and expand back over the top and try to push back out to 250 plus. Now, the contradiction here right now is we were below initially that $2.10, which we have to be above. That was more so than the falling wedge. When it came down, we actually had a higher up pattern that we broke out of that's wider, but it ended up breaking down into a falling wedge, or a descending wedge, falling wedge right before the breakout. So that first area of interest was it was right around $2.10 because that was the breakout point. And then if you lose that, bye Michaela. Then if you lose that, you have the CME gap from last Friday, which is $1.99.7, and then underneath that is the falling wedge target, which would be $1.80. Now, it would make sense to have a bounce out from here, but it could create a head and shoulders pattern if we did end up breaking out volatility from here. So there's a lot of different scenarios that can play out here for XRP, but we really need to stay above $2.10, start playing off of this short-term breakout, and then start pushing back up into almost like, instead of starting 5 fresh movements down, we need to, you know, we want to make sure. There's been so much news about XRP and it doesn't move the price. Correct, the news doesn't move the price. You are right about that. I love you. You might get seen.
You might get singing?
Seen. I'm a big screen now. I had to roll away because Julie didn't want to come on the screen. This isn't OnlyFans after all. Yeah, like she said, it's a joke. No, you're not fighting. I want to hear real questions, real truth. Real truth. This segment is about the truth. That's how we come together. You know, the first day we had a couple people. Today we have 72 people, which is nice. Mrs. Dot, welcome in along, and I know you've been in here with Hope Botanicals. Thank you both for being in town 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. He has no pants on. Got to make sure the pants are on in the vertical view, right? Can't hide everything. It's only Tom's. That's true. $10.99 to kiss the wife. Hey, you know, there's a price for everything, right? I said, I told Julie yesterday, because we were joking about OnlyFans because of some of the comments and stuff. And it would really put a new meaning to the dick and balls pattern if we had the OnlyFans segment. You know, and then it would put a new meaning to it, that's for sure. That is for sure. For stocks, I know you use JP Morgan, but have you ever used Fidelity? I haven't used Fidelity, but I trust Fidelity. Enough to the fact that I have in my mutual funds account, and this is my 3rd year of doing this. And this year, the good thing is, under 62, we can go $7,500 now. The past years, it was $7,000. But I trust Fidelity. They have a proven track record. And in the mutual funds, I have 3 different ones in the emerging markets through Fidelity and 2 through Vanguard. So I have confidence long term. Now, you know, short term, mid term, yeah. But long term, I like Fidelity. They seem to have at least enough legitimacy there to where, to where I trust them. Now, I've never used them as a trading platform, but Dave Ramsey speaks highly of Fidelity, so, you know, he has a lot of business through Fidelity. You know, he keeps a lot of funds there. So a lot of the people who have a lot of money seem to keep a lot of money at Fidelity through their brokerages. So, you know, there's usually a rhyme and reason. Where would I predict gold and silver in 2027? I'm not much for predictions, but if we continue at the rate of inflation, we account 12% per year, if not worse, you know, going forward. You know, we could expect some significant expansion when it comes to silver and gold. But that's a tricky question. Like, for industrial, are we really doing this whole AI thing? And then, you know, now and going forward, and by 2030, it's going to be like, you can't believe what you see with robots and automation and, you know, these new vehicles that are coming out. They don't just take an ounce of silver now. Now it's like 100 ounces of silver. So if all of this happens, if it's all happening like this, I really believe by the end of 2027, if this happens in the right way, we could legitimately be talking about $6,000-$7,000 gold easily, maybe more. Could we get up to 10,000 by then? It's possible, but it all depends on the monetary policy, and I don't really see it changing much. I don't see monetary policy changing much in the next couple of years. And I don't think the US dollar is going to expand globally. I think it's actually going to contract. And the viability is coming down. And just things like what Japan's doing, moving away from the US and not using the dollar. I think silver, I think realistically, to get back to that 40-to-1 ratio, I think what's going to end up happening, and I could be dead wrong, ratio, I think you're going to be looking at something like $10,000 gold and $200. I don't think it's just going to be, you know, unless it's $125 silver and $500 gold. That's the only, or $5,000 gold. Maybe that's how we get back to the 40-to-1. And maybe $5,000 gold is what we're pushing for right now, and 125 silver is where we're actually on the way to. And that's how you get your 40-to-1. So my best guess would be that's where we have to start looking. So, and that would mean that we have a lot of volatility to come to the upside, which I truly believe that in the next couple of years, like the prices we see now in gold and silver and miners, I don't think it's anything yet. And the cup and handle suggests until we get to 93, it's a steal. Any pullback, anything in the miners, anything like that until we get to $93 is a steal. That cup and handle is a multi-decade setup. And the handle itself was a almost 15 or 14 year setup in itself in the handle. And we haven't materialized that move yet. So anything under that is a bargain. Because then you start to play off of, well, if the cup and handle comes true, and let's just say we start holding 93 at some point as support, that's where it goes insane. But I do think we're on the up track still. And this has been a classic consolidation, not pattern reversal, with the miners and gold and silver, platinum, copper. This has been a classic. When we went through consolidation, it's been classic. This doesn't seem to me to be a sign of slowing down. If anything, this seems to be the sign of they're doing anything possible. Like they raised the capital requirements, and that single-handedly led to a 5% fall in silver, which gave a great opportunity across the board, which could still be building. But they can only raise the capital requirements so much. And once you feed out the small hands, what happens now? Now all of a sudden you get that parabolic movement back to the top. And it's a never-ending cycle. Like, I don't know what silver's at. Did it stay above 80? Did it lose 80? I haven't looked since I ended my live. I mean, we're volatile. We're volatile. Everything's pretty much exactly... I mean, the miners are a tiny bit up higher than this morning. But, I mean, nothing to write home about. What, 1% to maybe 3.5% higher than earlier. Silver, though, I mean, it's sitting right around $80. Gold's right around $4,500. This is your level right now. Is 80 going to be able to hold on silver? Remember, we're coming up for a triple push up now. We got rejected once at 83, came up to 82 and some change. Now it's third time the charm to push us up. Is the third time the charm? Because if it is, it's going to speak to the fact why the miners, especially the ones that are a little bit behind, are having these winding. They're winding like a Band-Aid. And you know what happens when you do this? All of a sudden you go, and then you fly out the freaking roof. And a lot of them are back testing. Like Fortuna Silver Mines is back testing a 17-year resistance wall. Every time it comes up there, it just... Same thing with Dolly Varden, multi, long. And B2 Gold, let's not even talk about B2 Gold. We've been talking about this routine since like the early 2000s. So, hold on, I want to grab this stuff from out there real quick. Thank you very much. Just the mail. Always like to get that. Let's see. What else? What else does everybody want to talk about? Ever thought about your soul cannot be saved, Ozzy? Always think about the soul. That's why we give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Yeshua, our higher power, Ghost hanging out in the background. Is she walking back and forth back there? She usually does. She hangs out outside right there. Chris, XRP, where am I at? Oakland County. Not too far, 45 minutes or so from Detroit. Long-term hold, would you rather buy silver coins for a higher price or buy bars for less? When I buy whatever is cheaper. I don't care if it's a silver round or a silver bar. Give me what, that's how I did it the whole time through, and I got a lot of both. So, I do whatever was the cheaper at the time. And I'm not getting no fancy stuff. I just want whatever gives me the cheapest per ounce. Whether it's the silver round or silver bar, I don't care what design's on it. I just care about who makes it. Are you buying copper? I did in the past. Not in many years. Too heavy. It's just too heavy. But yeah, I don't sell anything. So everything I've ever gotten, acquired, been given, it just goes on to the next generation. And there's many ways for the next generation to get that, but they're going to have to do some work. I'm not going to, yeah. Bright Future Freedom, how much do you think the new military budget is going to play in metals? All those chips. That is a great observation. We didn't talk about that at all yesterday, these new chips. Who said that? Bright Future Freedom, thanks for not only being part of Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, but that is a great observation. There's an extra 500. What was it? What they raise it to? 1.5 trillion. There's an extra $500 billion. $500 billion to the budget. I was looking at the star too, what you said. But it's the truth. Everything everybody's saying, it's the truth, and that would weigh heavily on the silver strain as well. That's incredibly interesting. What's the amount? Hold on, let me try to do a quick. With the military budget being raised to 1.5 trillion and the massive production of chips that are going to use silver, how much silver is going to be using these chips, and how much of a production are we looking at here?
The move toward a $1.5 trillion military budget for 2027 and the mass production of advanced chips are converging to create an unprecedented era of silver consumption. Because silver is the most conductive and reflective element on Earth, it has become a non-negotiable strategic resource for the dream military and AI-driven tech sectors you mentioned. Here is the breakdown of how much silver is being used and the scale of production we are seeing. 1. Silver in chip production, the numbers. While older consumer electronics used silver sparingly, the mass production of AI and high-performance chips has changed the math. Per unit consumption, asterisk advanced AI chips. An average high-end chip doesn't just use silver in its circuitry, it uses it in the packaging. AI server clusters now require 2 to 3 times the silver of traditional data centers due to higher power density and cooling needs. Semiconductor global total. The semiconductor packaging link alone now consumes between 1,200 and 1,500 metric tons of silver annually. The silver paste factor, mass production of these chips relies on silver-based conductive pastes. As we move toward 5G...
Did she say... Wait a minute, what? This says... Hold on, I'm going to let her keep reading. No, please continue reading from where it says... Let's see, hold on. Please continue reading where it says that it's going to be using... Oh, talk about the semiconductor global total and then go down to the silver paste factor.
Picking up right where we left off, let's dive deeper into the semiconductor.
This is some crazy shit.
And the critical silver paste factor that is driving this 2026-2027 demand surge. 1. The semiconductor global total. While individual chips are small, the sheer scale of mass production for the 2027 military and AI push is staggering. The consumption volume. In 2026, the semiconductor industry is projected to consume between 1,400 and 1,600 metric tons of silver. This isn't just extra silver, it is the fundamental material needed for the die attach process, connecting the silicon chip to its package. The AI military performance gap. Standard consumer chips, like those in a toaster, use copper or gold-plated copper. However, the high-performance chips required for the 1.5 trillion...
Okay, no. But there's more information here. So the other thing I want to read, the silver paste factor. Mass production of these chips relies on silver-based conductive paste as we move toward 5 and 6G and quantum-level components. The demand from this sector is projected to reach 74 million ounces. By 2030, up from 48 million ounces just a few years ago. So you're talking about, holy hell. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. We're not even talking about ammunition and smart weaponry, the structural deficit. So can you talk about the scale of production, a structural deficit, please, and read all of that information? And then we'll get to the next thing.
The structural deficit in silver is no longer just a market theory. As of early 2026, it has become a full-blown industrial crisis. With the US military budget surging toward $1.5 trillion and AI chip production scaling to trillions of units, the silver market has entered its 5th consecutive year of being unable to produce enough metal to meet demand. Here is the full readout on the scale of this production deficit and what it means for the next 12 to 24 months.
So I'm gonna read it real quick. So we have the structural deficit means that even if the price of silver goes to $100 an ounce, the world physically cannot mine more of it quickly enough to bridge the gap. So the global demand in 2026 projections approximately 1.2 to 1.3 billion ounces. Global supply, the 2026 projection is only roughly, so we need 1.2 to 1.3 billion ounces in 2026 to meet the demand of silver. The estimates for the global supply of silver in 26 is 820 to 840 million. Supply and demand. The annual shortfall, we are looking at a missing 180 to 220 million ounces every single year. That cumulative shortfall over the last 5 years, the world has consumed nearly 800 million ounces more than it has produced. That is equivalent to an entire year's worth of global mine production that has been vanished from above ground vaults like the COMEX and LBMA. That is how you cause a short squeeze. So it's just an unbelievable thing. I know a lot of people left during that conversation, but I don't even care. I was trying to read what MQ was saying too. Happy to report my 2 times daily elixir of organic lemon powder, beetroot powder, cayenne pepper has brought my BP down near 17 to 21 points. Your boy might be doing better, knock on wood. Hey, I'm so blessed to hear that. That's such a blessing to hear that. We continue to pray for your safe recovery and guidance. I know you're talking about a stroke and scary times, but I'm glad that you have, found a way to get your blood pressure a little bit lower. And, yeah. Amen to that. I'm so glad to read that. I am so blessed to read that. I heard BTD electric cars are 100 times bigger than Tesla, and their new batteries are going to use up to 2 pounds of silver compared to the battery's 1 ounces. And newer cars use a ½ ounce now. Yeah, they're talking about at least a minimum of 1 kilo of silver with some of these new, the amount, instead of it being a ½ ounce or an ounce, I was talking about that earlier too. I'm glad you pointed out that and ended up hitting on that. It's definitely, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be crazy. It's going to end up being pretty crazy. The blue light on phones and screen time with lack of sleep causes high blood pressure. Could see that. Good, have a teaspoon a day. Don't worry about you lose about 1.25 teaspoons a day through sweat. And the salt should fix your BP problems. I see what you're saying. See, I say some good. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff in here, guys. There's a lot of good stuff. It's the whole point of doing stuff like this, too, so we can be more unified. If you are watching, just make sure to hit that like button. We're not going to draw in, as many people, because most people want to see the charts, but, as we go on, I think we'll have more of an inviting environment doing it like this, too. What else? What else? What else? If you want to support my show, you can always join Tom's Army. You can, I don't know, you can send, I don't know what these things are called, jewels now, rubies. Make a cool little thing on the screen. You can simply like and share to be a part of this. Members of Tom's Army definitely help support what I do. Yeah, there's so much stuff that have silver. Just so much stuff. Let's see. Check out Donut Lab's solid state batteries, and with these electric motors, what they plan for 18-wheeler trailers, 70% fuel. Yeah, that's insane. That's a lot of savings on the fuel. I asked a question at the beginning of live, JW. Wait a minute, Bright Future, that's JW? Man, these names are really confusing the hell out of me. To the beginning of the live, let's see. Oh, well, let me go all the way. Hey, let me go back, though. Let's see. I want to see if I can find that question. Just wondering, what is your goal? Do you ever intend to do a group of live trading, maybe after your classes make team? I don't know if you have to be a financial advisor or anything, but I do see a lot of people doing that, JW. Yeah, a lot of people that do that, they charge people and then they start trading together. But in my experience, a lot of times all that ends up just being, that becomes the capital for somebody to be able to do the trading. But I don't know, to be honest with you. If I'm being honest, for all the stuff I do and just doing this already, and the amount of return I get out of it if I wasn't trading or investing, it's not, the amount of time I put in compared to what I get back out of it, it is shockingly low. In the regards of the support I get from the general people, so put more time like that and dedication. But maybe if it's related to the class, maybe if we had a unified bond for many months and we had a unified understanding and everybody got to the same level of trade skill and stuff like that. But maybe something if it came organically like that, but not anything where I'd be like, oh, well, like you're saying $300 monthly, crazy, but would only trust you. Yeah, I know that, but then you're putting out that much money. So even if the result is there or not, it just, I don't know, it's something that I don't really want to go down that road until that road is meant to be gone down. But everybody would have to be on an equal foot to be able to do something like that, because you'd literally be going through, we have a community of 30 people, let's say, right? And all 30 people have the same skill sets, at least the same basic understanding, and we identify the same thing. Like, we're looking at the same items, the same sector, or the same things like that. And, we would all have that unified approach, and that would be something different, but that would have to come after months and months of classes together. And it's like a football team, or if you're on a sports team, everybody might have their own unique talent, but we have to get on the same page with the same understanding of the time we're in right now and be with that same direct flow. Because even now, there's a lot of people that are focused on this and that. Did anybody see what happened with Zach? I know that was a big topic of discussion in this community as a privacy token, But that's had a little bit of a turmoil here recently. And not Z-Back, the other one. Well, I mean, the classes, once I start them, I plan on doing them until there's not anybody left coming to them. So, but yeah, that their owner basically, their entire team left, basically their entire team left. For the love of God, look at the stars tonight and tell me if something looks different. You'll do a short term. Oh, that one. Shit, I missed Elmer's question. That's Zcash, that's it. Zcash, yep, that's what I'm talking about. The devs quit, and it's done many pump and dumps in the past. Hey, Elmer, I will definitely look up and see. I'll definitely look up and see. And thank you for the $10 super chat. I love the super chat, but when you guys are in vertical, you should go to the gift spot because then it gives a cool animation. Not saying anything bad about the super chat. It sent a cool yellow thing across my screen that everybody can see. That's the first monetary donation I got in either live, so thank you. I didn't work for free today. I appreciate that. Always appreciate that. Yeah, these devs have rug pulled this. This is the third time it's gone up into higher levels, and they've rug pulled it. This is the third time now. So that's definitely something to be noted. You know, you can't avoid that, or you can't ignore it. It's only Canadian money. That's okay. Still $7.56 worth of American. But it's $10 of your money. Hey, Tom, can you explain the wick up on IOTA show yesterday? Shot up. Yeah, that's just IOTA, what it does. Oftentimes, that's just exhaustion to the top side. You get somebody who's buying in or somebody, they artificially push it up because maybe there's too many people going short at that time for them to drop the price, so they have an artificial wick up and liquidate everybody from, 3x and down. Or up, I mean. MQ, I appreciate you sharing with everybody your experience. They're absolutely, they're hunting liquidity at a feverish rate. It almost makes me feel like with silver, and obviously we need to see how this plays out through the rest of the day and the week and month and whatever. Because after a volatile push up, now you got to back test some of this movement. But it almost makes you feel like a little bit that they cleared out a lot of, the people that were putting in call options maybe that couldn't meet the new capital requirements, or they forced them out by having the market come down, and they had the combination of the raised capital requirements having people sell those calls out that they've been in. They also had a series of people that would sell because it went from 83 to 69. That's definitely a lot of people would start selling. So maybe they were trying to clear out the move for that final, well, I don't even know if it'd be a blow off the top, but that movement up to 93, which is the technical target out of a multi-year cup and handle. So everything that happens in between, you got to take it in stride. Like, I don't really look at the price of gold and silver every day or the miners. Like, I kind of just like to focus on crypto. And then when the time is right, I'll expand into something. But these are multi-year plans that I've had in place for a long time. So, it's just you gotta wait it out now. Yeah, Shiba's definitely one that's interesting. But yeah, the market right now looks like shit for crypto. Honestly. Looks like trash. We know that. It's trying to have some kind of clear out and push out, but right now, if we get rejected here and we end up falling below 208, there's a very real chance that this is a right shoulder of a head and shoulders. And it looks like we're coming down to $1.81. And that would mean across the board, unanimously, everything else is going to fall into that place. Like XDC would end up coming down and finish this movement off, and XDC would come down to like 4.5 cents. XLM, if it came down to finish off this movement, even though it's been holding surprisingly strong in the area, I'm saying if we broke down and invalidated what this golden cross was trying to lead us to believe we could have, if it was a fake out, then you're legitimately talking about either 21.4 or 20 cents for XLM, legitimately. For Bitcoin, you're talking about coming down to that liquidity. And if this is a right shoulder and we're getting rejected, don't worry about 88K. you'd be more worried about now having to come all the way back down to the bottom of this pattern and once again seeing if you could hold several levels here and see what happens. But that's where we're at right now. We're at a very tricky spot. It's a very dangerous spot in risk assets. For risk off, it's not as dangerous because there's utility that can be had. But it's a strange time in the markets we're in. It's a strange time in the markets, and with all this demand and all this stuff that's going on, we've got a lot of. It's just gonna be a lot of road. It's gonna be a tricky road here. I think a quick pump back up to clear the shorts that went down. Just cleared another 3.9 million. That sounds about right. That seems to be right. That was a quick, fast movement. It was a quick, fast movement. Well, as of right now, XRP, if it loses $2.10, it's heading down. And the next area would be the CME at $1.99.7 from last Friday. And then after that, you would have down to the broadening or the breakout of the falling wedge. That's all the way down at $1.80. Like, there's not much in between. So losing $2.10 is going to be devastating here. It would be devastating. So, and seeing silver up far over 3% now it's definitely something tricky. They trapped so many people on that last pump. I don't know. I know, MQ. That's the problem here. I'm just trying to see if we can even. I would expect some kind of reverse rally at some point, even if it's a 50% retracement, which could get you to that 227 area you're talking about. But let me let my cat in, and then I'm gonna have to go soon. It's already been that long on this vertical live. Wow. Sorry, I had to feed my kitty. Do you go live at a certain time of the day? Yeah, Steve. I normally do the horizontal live after my workout in the morning, Monday through Friday. I still go live Saturday and Sunday, but I try to go live sometime around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I've been doing the vertical live, after. That's why I'm live again. So the algorithm's going to take a while to get used to this. And then when I do a live at night, which is all up to my son, I usually do it around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be in line so we can do an hour together leading into the daily close. But it all depends on my son. Like tonight, it's a Friday. He might want to just hang out. My son's autistic and nonverbal, and he's 6 years old, so it makes it a little interesting. But yeah, so I try to keep a very set routine in that regard. In the morning, I try to do it like that on routine. And then on Sundays, I leave the live. Usually, I get on around 9:30, and then I'll be done because I go to church for 11 o'clock Mass on Sunday. So it usually plays into that. Elmer MQ says, who is Elmer? I believe that's John Wiseman, I see. Somebody said John Wiseman as well. Good. Good. I don't believe he's in the Telegram. But yeah, so I think that's what I got today. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live. I don't know of anything else to talk about this morning except to watch the metals, because I see a big volatile movement up still. I really do. I see opportunity, especially with the. You just don't take too lightly the fact that they expanded the money supply again. Yeah, John should definitely be in the Telegram. Mr. Stott just got in here. Oh man, we might have to stay for 5 more minutes. Might have to recap here now for Mr. Stott. Man, that wind is crazy right now. Man, it's so dark, black outside in the sky. This is like what a scary movie's about. Holy hell, you guys can't see it because of the way it looks, but it's like a scary movie out there. I didn't realize it was getting that much. It's almost as scary as how long my hair is. You guys can only see it like this. Here, I'll let you guys see it in the other way, like this. How's that? They told me XRP was going up. Told me not to cut my hair till it hit $5. Damn it, it's getting pretty long. Is it ever going to hit $5? Can we ever hit $4? But no, this is, I swear I'm a disciple of David Schwartz of some kind, because if you look at my hair and stuff, I swear if I was a little bit heavier, no offense to David Schwartz, and had a little less hair, I would look just like David Schwartz, honestly. Oh, I do need a fan. Oh, I think I have something that could blow my hair. Hold on. I would have to move it over here. Oh yeah, $10 now, that's right. But I said $4 just because it was closer. Like it could have got here, but it never could. Love the input, FUD. We welcome your knowledge. Laugh out loud. Much more handsome, Tom. I know a lot of people like my hair down, I must say. I'm considering taking it out of that now because I got past the awkward stage, and then I can, well, it's still awkward. But I like it. I kind of look like in some of my pictures, it definitely makes my face look thinner when I pull it out like, oh. I watched one of your old videos and your hair was to your shoulders. It looks good now. Yeah, it was like to here. And now it's come down much farther now. So now, technically, I don't have to be in the awkward phase. So, it's different though. I haven't cut my hair in my 40s. And I'm 42. So that's something. I'm proud of that. I told my dad I'm never going to cut it again. And my dad's the old traditional type. It's funny, actually. XDC, they're all looking just as not so well. But XDC, in the short term, possible reversal in the 3 hourly and 4 hourly. So we'll see if it's an early runner, and if it is a reversal, it's going to come retest. And don't get too excited. Either 5 cents or 5.08. And then if it gets rejected, it could continue its way. And that could also build out somewhat of a little bit of a right shoulder as well in the short term. So, yeah. We're either about to break down if this fails. So if we make a new low below 484, we're probably in some trouble. But it looks like a small reversal starting. I can see that with the rest of crypto, too. It's just XDC seems to be a little bit ahead. But, you know what? We might just have to come back down farther. This might just come back down farther, and I know it's a gut punch. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you see gold, silver moving, and people are finding the safe haven and risk off and real money, a lot of people are going to say, well, why am I going to risk it in crypto if I can just make the same money and, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate to have hair at 42 because my dad has the bald spot and balder. My brother's the same way, and he's 2 years younger than me. But what I'm not fortunate about is I can't see out of this eye. It's all one big blur. I can't even see the screen right now. So, would I trade the hair for a second eye that it would work? Yeah, oh yeah, I would. So, I would. If we broke down for XDC, you're looking at, like, in the short term, 4.48 cents, I believe it is. Hold on, let me tell you the exact number. The next tap would be in real time. And it's actually a little bit lower if we extend it out. 4.55 cents. But like I said, we're getting a little turn up here. It doesn't seem like it, but this could be the start of something. For our sake, it's the same way for the rest of the market. So it could be the start of a sneaky reversal here. Actually, oddly enough, heading into the weekend. So, but yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go hang out with Julie now. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. No cool gifts today, so we didn't get to see anything on the screen. But other than that, great live. Thank you all so much. Maybe in the future, YouTube will start pushing my content more, but we highly doubt it.